The gender binary is the concept whereby when a baby is born, we know for sure whether the baby can be classified as male or female. And this is usually done by looking at the primary and the secondary sexual characteristic of the baby once the baby is born. But obviously the gender binary doesn't necessarily only apply to the notion of biological sex. It also has to do with the concept of gender itself, which means the expectations that society has regarding the performance of certain social roles relating to either masculinity or femininity. So in this regard, every baby is supposed to have a gender, and we only recognize two genders, so the male and the female in this regard. Human rights principles in contemporary society, contemporary world, were first formulated under the form of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. Obviously, the sort of standard subject of human rights was considered to be a man, and was considered to be heterosexual, middle class, and white, obviously. So all these characteristics created a sort of framework which helped people to understand whose human rights we were trying to protect. So we see in the first place that the gender binary already affects the definition and institutionalization of human rights. We can see that not only the rights of women are often disregarded or considered to be secondary to the right of the sort of neutral individual, which obviously then is categorized as being a man, but also the rights of people who don't comply with the expectations of gender or what is required from them in terms of being either a man or a woman. So in saying this, we're thinking particularly about gender minorities such as trans persons and intersexual persons, but we're also thinking about persons who have different sexual orientations from heterosexual orientation.
Mike Pence is the future Vice President of the United States and was appointed by President-elect Donald Trump. Pence is considered a far-right conservative politician and has generated controversy over various issues such as gay rights, immigration, and abortion. Regarding LGBT rights, he signed the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, a bill which would pardon homophobic discrimination if justified on religious grounds. Congress should support the reauthorization of the Ryan White CARE Act only after a complete audit to ensure that federal dollars were no longer being given to organizations that celebrate and encourage the types of behaviors that facilitate the spreading of the HIV virus. He added, resources should be directed towards those institutions which provide assistance to those seeking to change their sexual behaviors, such as conversion therapy. Conversion therapy refers to various methods to cure or change a person's sexual orientation and/or sexual identity. Survivors of conversion therapy report many adverse effects and unintended consequences.
Physical therapy was my hands being tied down and blocks of ice being placed on my hands. Then pictures of men holding hands would be shown to me, so that way I would associate the concept of the pain of ice with a man touching me.
However, despite its practice, it is now recognized that being lesbian, gay, bisexual, or trans, or any other gender expression is not a mental illness, and that trying to change a person's sexual orientation or gender identity is ineffective and dangerous.
So, would you judge a book by its cover? Something as simple as judging can undermine someone's human rights. There are only 4 states in the US that have already banned this form of torture. Has your state taken action? If you want to help enacting a similar law in your state, please go to nclrights.org and take action.
LGBT rights are human rights.
Human rights are LGBT rights.
LGBT rights are human rights.
And human rights are LGBT rights.